here from York. Everybody, please put your hands together one more. So we're reflecting on here. It's going to be really hard for me to miss it. Give me a chance, I'll pull through. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm extremely honored to be here and have the opportunity to share with you some success that we've had and tell you a little bit about how we run our real estate business. Chuck, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. Chad and State House, thanks for hosting. It's a great venue here. So let's get started. So our company name is CR Property Group. That's our parent company name. We started back in 2004. Also known as Integrity First Home Buyers. We have a CR Property Group in Pennsylvania. We're located at 2500 Kingston Road in York, VA. And also an office on York Road in Boothville, Timonium. We do business there in mostly Baltimore County, but a little bit in the city as well. Some redevelopment areas in the city. This is myself here, and my 4 children, my lovely wife Sonia. That's Camden, 16-year-old son. He's getting his first start at quarterback for varsity tomorrow night, so I'm pretty pumped up about that. He's been working hard. He's a sophomore, so it's kind of a big deal. He moved the senior out of there, and they're on a really good team too. So, my youngest, Lydia, oldest daughter, Maya, Lily, who's really bad. Sonia, my beautiful wife. Been in business for 14 years. We've purchased, renovated, and sold over 4,000 homes since 2004. One pace to break 400 acquisitions and sales this year. And we have a retail brokerage as well. I'm licensed with Keller Williams, and we'll do over 800 retail, conventional real estate transactions this year. This is Anthony. Anthony's right up front here. He's my COO. He's been with me just shy of 2 years now. Since he's come on board, we've grown by leaps and bounds. It's a whole different presentation, but I was actually physically able to get myself out of the day-to-day operation, operate more as a visionary inside of my business, and Anthony really runs the day-to-day operations as far as the business goes. So I'm blessed to have him here, not only tonight, but just the company as a whole. So we're going to just talk a little bit about tonight. We'll give you an overview of how our business operates. We'll break it down into really just 6 key categories or departments. Marketing, lead conversion, acquisitions, renovation, sales and leasing, property management. We have a partnership with Slate House. They've done a wonderful job in property management, not only for my personal portfolio. We sell, this year we'll do over 200 turnkey rentals that we sell to investors all across the country. And part of that package that we deliver is a fully renovated, occupied property, then with professional management on the back end. So that property management is provided by Slate House, where they do a wonderful job. So I'll give you just a quick, you can click on the link there. I want to just show you how we actually run our business. We run it with EOS. Anybody here familiar with EOS? What is it?
Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Yeah, so it's an entrepreneurial operating system. It's basically the systems and processes that Fortune 500 companies have used for decades to run their business, and then they teach it so that you can implement it into I think it's at least an 8-person team. So if you have 8 people inside of a business, EOS is applicable. We implemented about a year ago, and it's really been great for our business. But the first thing that we do when we implement EOS is they teach right people, right seats. You won't be able to see this, but it's more of the illustration I want to share with you. In a lot of businesses we have what's called an organizational chart. This is a little bit different. It's called an accountability chart. And the reason it's a little bit different is the person that does this set of responsibilities isn't necessarily beneath the person that's above them. Accountability just speaks to who is ultimately responsible for making sure that task gets done. So when you look at our marketing department, lead management department, acquisitions department, retail sales department, dispositions, transaction coordinating, and then finance and HR, The person at the top sits on what we call our leadership team. We have a once a week, 90-minute meeting where we talk about high-level stuff, right? Who are we hiring? Who are we firing? Why are we firing? Do they need training? What are the big picture items that we want to pursue this week? And what are the issues within the company that we feel need to be addressed before they turn into something bigger? And then each of these tasks below are all the things that make the company actually run, right? We do a ton of direct mail. We do 70,000 pieces of direct mail a month. So we've got to make sure that stuff goes out. It's not the person at the top of the accountability chart. It's their job to make sure it gets done, but not to physically do it. Does that help you with the accountability chart? All right. So you might have 55 different things that need to get done in here, but our leadership team is comprised of 8 people, and each of them have about 3 or 4 people that work for them. Make sense? So that's the accountability chart. That's how we run our business. It's the second part of the accountability chart. We just had these printed and we posted them all throughout the company. It really helps with communication. One of the things we realize is by people knowing who's responsible for them, when they have questions or concerns, how often do people go to the wrong person to ask a question? Or the wrong 3 people to get 3 different responses? And they don't know who to go to, so send out an email to like a company-wide email, right? And then we respond when we didn't need to, or we give different answers. So we've just noticed that we've actually over-communicated before we developed the accountability chart. There was too many people involved in too many processes, and it really slowed down productions. One of the things I take a lot of pride in, a lot of people say, but we have a lot of fun. And it's created a culture within our company that I would attribute going back to EOS. One of the things they really talk about is we have monthly town hall meetings. It's very similar to this. Everybody in the company gets together. We talk about the state of the union, what happened over the course of the last 30 days. Who did we hire that's new? What's their role? What department do they work in? Anybody ever work at a place and a new person walks in and you're like, who's that person? Steve, what's Steve doing? Is he taking my job? Right? So that's all eliminated. For 10 years, I would always actually be annoyed when somebody would say, I'm the last person to know. And I'm like, well, Sally, you work in marketing, John's in renovations. Why would I ever talk to you about that? But it contributes to a better culture when people feel like they're at the forefront of decisions that you make. Not that they help make the decision, they even had a say. They feel included, they feel respected, they feel like their opinion is valued. And that all contributes to having a better culture, which contributes to having fun. So I got an example of us having fun. We've been extremely active on social media. Chad kids me all the time. I was on Facebook Live a little bit when I walked in here. I think that's probably how Chuck E met me. You probably saw me on Facebook. Today was the first time I think we physically met.
Yeah.
So you click on this link, we get this link to play. So we do a weekly show every Monday. It's called the Real Estate Breakdown. And this was intended, can you pause it before it gets all weird? This is a little weird, but it's funny. This was intended, I was going to go door to door and make offers on Facebook Live. Just to show people like what it's like to do what we do, right? I was expecting to get kicked off a couple porches, a couple people would take me crazy, who knows, I might have bought a house. And we actually got sidetracked, and someone that works with me and the guy that runs the studio that I was in, we ended up doing like this crazy little video. And if you look, it got like over, so it's from 5 months ago, it's over 5,000 views. And this was the beginning stages of really an intentional effort on social media, which is part of what I'm going to talk to today about how to get deals. And we spoke on this at a mastermind group in Tampa, Florida with over 100 investors. And to make a long story short, who here likes referrals? Everybody should have their hand up, right? Well, why does someone send you a referral? Can you answer that question for me? Why would you send someone? They trust you. They feel like they know you, right? We found through social media, through organic activity, not a scripted video, not you sitting in front of a green screen and reading off of a script what you want everybody to think that you do. But I do Facebook Lives for 3 or 4 minutes with my wife loves it, by the way. 3 or 4 minutes of her doing laundry and the kids like acting up like everybody else's kids, right? My kids are crazy. I told you Lily's nuts. Like she's legit like a future felon. And, but people start to then, because they want to do business with people, they want to do business with a company. And that's the short version is what we've learned by doing this. We stumbled on it by accident. So let's take a peek at this video, and I'll show you a little bit about what we do. Great. You know, all right, so I have a holder we can put in the like, what am I doing here?
I got it, Gene. I'll just hold it.
So we're at the neighborhood. We're like a block away from the neighborhood. We're going to go.
I got some cool little toys.
Oh, yeah.
There it is, somewhere. What's up? Yo, you gotta run for real estate, huh? Huh? Boom. Take off. Bam. Let's go.
You got to see the part that it's pretty early on where it gets.
Oh, yeah.
Where it hops a little.
Push and change, better not be left.
So the funny thing is, this guy runs like 30 miles a day, and he wears a GoPro all day, and he's live, and he's got
volunteers.
He wears t-shirts, and he charges $500
I'm
a
gonna
day.
run around,
People pay him $500 a
stop
day
and
to
talk
run
to
this
people on
t-shirt.
the streets and out in different communities and stuff. We need someone to drive.
I'm tired of it.
I'm
I'm gonna start getting up at 5 though, John, I swear. Look, all right, so we gotta skip this. So you guys get the idea, right? He gets a bunny hop. So that's a little peek of what we do. I do 3 to 5 of these videos a day. I do one in the morning when I'm driving to work every day. That's real estate related. You know, I did one the other day where I talked about the BRRRR method. Right? People know about the BRRRR method, investing in real estate, buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. And what it does is when you mix that in with a little bit of the personal touch, you then become a referral. And we did 6 deals the first quarter that we started measuring this. 6 transactions from virtual strangers that I was Facebook friends with and netted over $130,000 of gross profit. From complete strangers that were referred to me by other complete strangers that felt like they knew me and trust me, and I was a friend through Facebook. So that's something I want to share with you a little bit. That's an example of it. It was super uncomfortable at first. I was not comfortable being on camera. The only thing I can tell you is just to do it. It's just like anything else. You weren't comfortable walking when you were 8 months old until you did it. This is no different. Just do it. And the best part about it is people are like, I stutter, or I'm not sure what I'm saying. That's what makes it real. That's why people appreciate it, because it's not scripted. It's real. We stutter when we talk. We touch our face. We rub our nose. It's fine. So, what we're going to talk about, what I'm here for today, to give to you is how we find properties. There's a couple different ways to do that. These are no secrets. Use a realtor that is familiar with both on-market and off-market properties. How many people here today are licensed real estate agents? Okay, so you have access to the MLS, right? There's bank-owned properties, estates, all different types of properties that come on the market that are priced aggressively. How competitive is that market right now?
Very.
Really competitive, right? Farouk's here. Farouk's an agent I've done tons of business with. It's really competitive just to get the listings. The agents are feeling the pinch, right? Because everybody's trying to get into the REO space as the agents because they sell. Because there's so many of us investors that are looking to buy those deals. And then also off-market. Real estate agents, we do you would know the terminology. At the end of each month, we go back and look at how many deals were done in our market. We compare it to the people that we were marketing to, and we identify the people that sold their house at a discounted price that weren't on our radar. And then we put them into different categories, like why did we not market to these people? What filter were we using, or what were we doing that eliminated those people? And then we monitor it, we create what we call a different avatar. I just learned that word like 3 months ago, so don't think I'm like some dating nerd that just does when he talks to me. But it creates an avatar of what a motivated seller is. What we found is that over 70% of the deals that are being done in our market are still being done by real estate agents. But they're off market. Who here sees a deal that goes in the MLS and says for comp purposes only? You ever see that? Yeah, it's because someone had a listing, they brought it to their buyer, went in for comp purposes. A lot of times the agent will bring that to their investor, right? So they have relationships with maybe 2, 3, 4 investors. We get those phone calls. And they'll say, hey, look, I told my buyer they don't really want to go to the market, they're not excited about showings. We're going to invite 4 investors that we know to come out. We're going to take the best offer. So we found that 70% of those deals are still being done through real estate agents. Search on market for your investment properties. You can set up all different types of searches. Bright's really great with that stuff. You can put 50 different filters in there so that you get automatic updates each time a new property comes on the market. Look for tax, bank sales, and auctions. We've been through the whole sheriff sale, tax sale, in 7 different counties. It's excruciating. It takes a lot of time. It is uber competitive. It's standing remotely in York County. We don't even go anymore. Properties are selling for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 over what we're willing to pay. It's just not the best use of our time. But by all means, it's a means to find deals. And you can go and maybe buy 4 deals at once. That's the big benefit to those auctions, is you can buy 4 deals at one time. It takes us being in 6 different places at 6 different times to buy 4 deals. So it's definitely a way you can find deals. Doesn't work for us, but it's out there. Search off market for your investment property. Off market, really, we're going to get into a bunch of different niche lists that we mail. A lot of the stuff we talked about, where we've identified the typical avatar of a motivated seller in our market. So we'll touch on that. Here's what we found with marketing results. We measure, and then measure again. So everything that we spend money on, we measure. We measure the response, we measure the amount of appointments, we measure the amount of deals, we measure the amount of profit per deal. And then what we do is we're nimble enough to be able to shift our marketing dollars towards what we get the biggest response, that nets the most appointments, that translates to the most deals. And then ultimately, if I'm doing 10 deals, but I'm only making $4,000 a deal, right? Versus 2 deals for $40,000 a deal, I'll take the 2 deals at 40. Less time, right? Less energy. And at the end, I'm only servicing 2 clients. So we're constantly measuring this stuff. What we found was we've tested 30 different postcards. We did yellow letters. We did Google Street View. Anybody know what the Google Street View is? It's actual Google Street View picture of the house. And we got real excited the first time we got out. The phone was ringing off the hook. 75% of the people like, you creep, you drove past my house and took a picture. I'm calling the cop. I'm serious. I swear to you. So we spent all this time fielding phone calls from upset people. So if we measured just the response rate, I'd still be mailing Google Street View cards.
What do you mean you were taking pictures?
So the customer called and said, you drove past my house and took a picture, you creep?
Yeah, so you sent them a picture of their house.
From Google.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've never heard of Google or Street View or whatever. But we had somebody that walked in our office once and like wanted to fight with it. I'm just kidding. So anyway, what we found was it had nothing to do with the message, had everything to do with the data. Like the person that you're mailing, who you're communicating to. Matter of fact, the most successful postcard, the one we use all the time, is literally like 4 lines of handwritten text and a phone number. And we buy as many deals off of that as we do a postcard this big, that's nice and glossy, that's branded with all kinds of logos and websites and all that stuff on it. The design, I'm here to tell you, in our experience, means nothing. It's all about who you're marketing to and then the consistency. Desired audience and target marketing, that's what I'm talking about. Consistent reach. So what we found is we get updated data from our mass list. So our biggest list in each county is about 25,000 records. It's predominantly people over the age of 60, own the property more than 10 years. There's a lot of different, 7 or 8 different consistent variables. In each market, it's about 25 to 30,000 people in the 7 markets that we're in. And we mail them 2 times per quarter, and at the end of that quarter, we get an updated list. Okay? So consistently, if someone stays on that list, they're going to get 6 mailers from us a year. It's pretty consistent. Didn't see a benefit in doing it every month. It was almost overkill. When we went to 6 weeks, we were getting the same response. If we went longer than 6 weeks, the response and the deals slowed down. So the 6-week time frame was perfect for us. They were getting 2 mailers per quarter, 6 a year. Design doesn't matter when mailing. I literally called Anthony at 4 in the morning, and I had this, it's going to change the world, right? I was at the grocery store and I walked in, and there was this thing that said text. It wasn't meat, but just for humor purposes, I'll tell you, it said meat. Text meat to the deli and get $3 off your $10 purchase. Yeah, texted in, walked back and showed her my phone at $3 off half pound of bologna. It was awesome. So as I'm going through the rest of the grocery store, oh my God, what if we sent out postcards and people could text us to get an automatic offer? Change the world. Great idea. We spent all this money. Look at this. We got an app set up. We got 4 leads. 5. How many houses we got? 2. How many postcards we've had to mail in order to get those same 2 deals? The same batch. So 10 that. Sure. Anyway, we got 5 leads, bought 2 homes. We only fielded 5 leads, bought the same amount of homes we otherwise would have mailed between 5 and 10,000 homes. Sounds like a lot. I trust this data. But the point was, it had nothing to do with the postcard. When I set it out, I was heartbroken. We got 5 leads. I was convinced the number wasn't working, the app wasn't working. Something had to be wrong. It couldn't have been my idea. But it turned out it was just the response rate. But what happened is the only people that responded, because of the aggressive nature of the postcard, right? Now that I go back and look at it, not everybody wants an offer. When they respond to a mailer, they just want to talk. Or what would an offer look like? Or how does your process work? This is pretty direct. You're going to get an offer right away, okay? We'll get the same amount of deals. So what I realized was it had nothing to do with the copy, had nothing to do with design, it has everything to do with the data. Got the same amount of deals now. Lead generation in a competitive market. These are the things that we focus on and what we feel separates us and gives us an advantage. Predictive analytics. We use a company, they're out of Seattle, and they mine data. They analyze, I don't know what the number is, it's a lot, 1 million different data points in each market. They track social media activity. They track whether you bank at a credit union or a bank. How many car loans do you have? How many kids do you have? Have you moved once every 7 years, 12 years, 11 years? What's your favorite color? What pages do you like on Facebook? Who do you follow? And then they find that typical people that sell their house at a discount have commonalities between them, right? So they do these predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, everybody's heard of that, right? So what they do is that when we decide we want to go into a market, we say, hey, we want to go into the Lancaster market, we want predictive analytics, we get exclusive licensing, we're then the only customer that they sell that information to, and they give us 25,000 names per market. And in a market that has about 300,000 people, that's about the rough number that we get. And we get, on average, less than 1%, more than 0.5%, what we call net response rate. So we only measure actual leads. If someone calls and says, pound sand money, take me off your list, we don't count that as a net lead. Net lead for us is someone that actually has some interest, even minimal, in selling their house. So anything other than really, pound sand, we count as a net lead. So we use predictive analytics. We then stack lists. So we use an app called Property List Manager. How many active records do we have in Property List Manager right now? 200. So 220,000 records, addresses, names, all that good stuff. And then when we stack them, we'll show you there's 30 different lists that we buy: pre-foreclosure, delinquent tax, divorce, all that good stuff. Okay. So this is the company actually that we buy our predictive analytics from. It's called LANCASTER. And then what we do is we take that list and then all of these different lists. Some of these we get each week, some we get each month, some we get each quarter. But then what we do is we take all of these lists and then we put them into a stacking software, and then we find if someone shows up on 2 or more lists, that's the hottest lead that you can imagine. And if you think about it, if someone's facing pre-foreclosure, they're behind on the taxes, they have high equity, and they're an absentee owner, they don't live there, pretty motivated, right? So that's the benefit of having Property List Manager. We're able to take all of those, run them through a filter, and then it sorts it based on the amount of lists. So if someone that's on like 9 of those lists is at the very top of the list, right? We're going to call them, we're going to text them, we're going to knock on the door, we're going to send them smoke signals, we're going to do everything we can to try and get a hold of them, right? Then niche list. That's a little bit what you see down there, right? You'd be surprised how many different points of data you can get. If someone moves, they get a haircut, there's literally a list for everything. You'd be surprised. So we look into lists, look for some of these niche lists. We've been at Outbound now for about a year consistently. We make north of about 2,000 outbound calls a day. We send about 3,000 text messages a day. There's a whole compliance process you got to go through with outbound calling and texting. Like Chuck said, I wouldn't give you legal advice. We spent about 6 months of research and a couple $1,000s making sure we were compliant, got official opinion letters from our legal counsel about how to do it and why it was applicable. And it does change from state to state. So what we do in Pennsylvania and Maryland is fitting for Pennsylvania and Maryland. If anybody here does deals outside of those areas, make sure you do the research in the state you do business in, not where you live, because they are very, very different. And I know there's people that have gotten themselves in serious trouble using things like ringless voicemails, mass texting. I'll give you a little secret. The one thing about texting that makes it compliant, it has to be manual. So we literally have a guy named Steve Jan that sits in Pakistan and the Philippines, and literally clicks all day. That's his job. But he sends 1,500 texts a day, and then we have another one that does the same amount of texts per day. So, but it's done manually. They literally send each text. Now it's copy and pasted, but they send it manually. And by the way, texting we get the highest response to. We get about a 30% response rate. Oh, wow, 37. But 15's high. They're talking about a 0.5%, half of 1% to mail. 15% response on text is phenomenal. And it pays, don't correct me if I'm wrong, just let it slide. It's like 1 penny to text, is that right? And 11 cents to skip trace. So about 12 cents per contact. For direct mail, we're almost 60 cents per contact. Does that make sense? 60 cents per contact. That's buying the data, mailing the data. We have a really good deal with the mail house because of what we do. We pay 34 cents a postcard. I nailed it, Joe. 34 cents a postcard. Happy to share that with anybody. If you guys do some mailing and want to save some money, happy to introduce you to the company that we use. But it's 34 cents. We pay about 15 cents per record for the predictive analytics. And we have some design work and other stuff that it's up to almost 60 cents. Texting is 10 cents. The skip trick, it's a half. So we can send twice as many text messages, get 14 times better response. So you can imagine how lucrative texting is. Problem is the data is really hard to get. Yes?
Question about what do you say in that text message to not make yourself seem creepy because you found their phone number?
I can probably show it to you guys. It's something pretty basic. Hey, my name's Eric. I'm a local real estate investor. You still own the property at 123 Main Street? If so, would you be interested in talking about selling?
That's it.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the more generic, the better. When we had our company name in it, response suffered. The biggest thing we learned about texting is kind of like when I talk about social media. I don't know about you, but most people that have my cell phone that text me are friends and family, right? We don't give everybody your cell phone number. And texting is just more of an intimate way to communicate. We get a great response to it. And you'll be surprised. It takes some guts from the customer to pick up the phone and call this big bad investor. I call it text muscles. They get text muscles, right? It's a big deal. They can't make me sell my house over text. So they're much more willing to engage, but it does take a lot more follow-up. Because they'll text, and then once the conversation starts to go towards maybe you're getting somewhere, then they go MIA. But it's no different than anything else. If you have follow-up in place, you'll be successful. So that's outbound calling, texting. We actually did door knocking, right? We went straight caveman over the summer, and actually I employed 13 school students. We did almost like a PR campaign. I employed 13 students, 10 hours a day, 2 hours each day we gave them education. It was from a local York High. It's a school in our hometown. And they were all football players, very disciplined, handpicked by the coach. And we got results. Again, in today's age, people get inundated with email, inundated with phone calls. They're getting text messages from me, phone calls from me. But nobody knocks on the door, right? How often do people physically knock on the door? It takes, a lot of resources. We had 13 people, right? We would split them up into different markets, two-man teams, and it was very lucrative. But it's very
Eric, were you knocking on rant? Were you canvassing neighborhoods, or were you specifically going after?
We started canvassing neighborhoods as a result sucked.
So you went after the list.
The best thing to do is use the list. And the people that, because it is so labor intensive, the people that we knocked showed up on multiple lists.
Yeah.
Right, because they were the most motivated people out of the group. We have 200,000 data points. I can't knock on that many doors. So knowing that it's very labor intensive, we started with the most motivated sellers, which we identified by being on multiple lists. Social media marketing, we do the standard Facebook sponsored ads, targeted ads. For those of you who don't know, Facebook recently just completely shut down real estate targeted ads. They're in the process of a massive lawsuit for predatory, I don't know the exact terminology. Bottom line is, in one neighborhood or one town, right, there was a real estate team that really honed in on what the demographic of the buyer was for a particular development that they were selling. So they had to dial in so much that this ad was in front of 25,000 of those people a day, and someone got pissed off and sued these people for millions and millions and millions of dollars, blew Facebook into us, now it's a $1 billion lawsuit. So anything that has the term real estate in it, done. You cannot target it, we shut it down. So how do we do that? That's why we do just the organic ads that we do. They get shared. It's been extremely successful for us. But I would encourage you not to spend a whole lot of money on Facebook if that's something that you're doing now. The results are way down. We were getting a tenth of the response of what we were 4 months ago. But we're still active on social media, a little bit of Instagram, mostly Facebook. And we post from our personal pages and then share it to our business page. Don't think that's the end of it. Yeah. Total, Pennsylvania, we have just over 30 people total. In Maryland, we have, that's including 11 real estate agents. So the rest is a mix of, we have 4 acquisition agents, 3 admin, 4 project management, someone answers the phones, bookkeeper, dispositions. We have an on-market executive assistant that scrubs all of the listings that come across the MLS each day, dispatches them to Chris is doing our on-market buying. We buy about 8 to 10 properties on market in the 7 counties that we're in. It's tough, but we have a full staff dedicated to being the first to respond to those deals, and we get offers in right away. We've got really strong relationships with the REO agents. We've been at it for 15 years, so we have a pretty good system down. And so that answers your question. Cool. And then Maryland's about the same. We do a similar amount of deals, so very similar, about 60 people total between us. And then follow-up. We are just militant about follow-up. We have 2 more executive assistants from the Philippines, Andrea and Ann, and all they do is tracking for us. So every person we talk to, we don't get an appointment, they put onto someone's calendar and make a follow-up call, they hold them accountable to do that. Everybody that we have an appointment with, we make an offer, the offer doesn't get accepted, they get put into a whole different follow-up sequence. That's a combination of call and text. You can use ringless voicemail, by the way, for someone that's you're already engaged with. Right? So if you have a relationship, if they've called you, it's like the gloves are off. You know what people are going to do, right? You can text them, you can RVM them, you can email them, you do all that stuff until they request to be removed from wherever your marketing is. But we literally have 5 to 7 touches for each of our customers within the first 72 hours that we've been in contact with. So that's our follow-up. We use a combination of 2 different CRMs. We haven't been able to find one that does everything that we want to do. CRMs that do the reporting that we need, that gives us a dashboard where we can track leads and the contact rate, appointment rate, and all that stuff. Doesn't quite have the customer contact for we want. So we use 2 different CRMs. Everybody will have, their favorite or what works for them. We use 2, and it's worked well for us. So we talked about data, contact points. Our 3 primary contact points are call, text, and what am I forgetting? Mail. All right. So for every data point that we collect, we talk about over 200,000 data points. We refresh that predictive analytics every quarter. Right. We mail them twice. We text them once a month. We call them every 6 weeks. So over the course of that time frame, in 1 quarter, they're going to get 2 mailers, 2 calls, 3 text messages. Right. Frequency. Again, we're consistent throughout the entire year. As long as someone is still on that list, hasn't asked to be removed, or something in their situation hasn't changed, they're still on our list. We're nonstop with consistency in contact. Just to follow up on that, so all lists are mailed. I get a little ahead of myself. All lists are mailed, called, texted, added to follow-up, assigned to CRM drip campaigns. So we do ringless voicemails. Everybody know what ringless voicemails are? You ever get a voicemail on your phone never rang, and there's a voicemail in there. There's a software that's what we use now. Call fire, so you can upload through Excel, a spreadsheet, the press of a button, it'll drop your message. So you record the message, hey, this is Steve, just check it in, see if you sold your house. If not, give me a ring. Remember, I can pay all cash. So we have an entire database of people that are somewhere in the follow-up sequence, but the press is 1 month, we can drop 1,500 voice speaks. Same thing with emails, right? Our CRM sends out automated emails, Salesforce, Boomtown, Podio, built platforms, there's 1,000 of them out there. And then Facebook funnels, we have Facebook funnels where someone clicks on an ad, they go into a whole follow-up sequence. We mail twice a quarter, every quarter. We skip trace every record. We get about a 90% success rate. So if we buy 25,000 records in Lancaster County this quarter, we skip trace the whole list, we'll get about 90% to come back with a phone number. Okay? Only 20% of those we get cell phone numbers for. So that's the only challenge with texting is there's such a small sample size. Out of 25,000 people, I'm only getting 5,500 phone numbers, right? I'm getting 22,500 landlines. And then we also scrub it against the do not call list. And known litigators is a big one. You can run through a list of known litigators, or these are sue-happy people that have a record of suing people. We run them through. Yes?
The landlines, are you finding that are even valid? I mean,
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Landlines, are they even valid?
Oh, yeah. Did I tell you our average customer is over the age of 60? Who has a landline?
Someone over.
They do.
People over the age of 60. Even if they have a cell phone, they use it for emergency cases. But that was a very, first one, we're not going to get a whole anyone on these landlines. You'd be surprised.
Let me clarify something there real quick. So when we get a ton of phone numbers that are not valid. We skip trace, we'll get some of the softwares that we use to skip trace, we'll get up to 9 phone numbers for a person, we'll call all 9. And 1 or 2 might be previous phone numbers for that person, which means we got 7 bad phone numbers.
yeah.
And a lot of times it'll come with some type of association. Past employer, current employer, aunt, uncle, neighbor. But a lot of times we're able to call a bad number, and you ask for Steve, sounds really simple. When they say, no, this isn't Steve, well, do you know Steve Huckleberry? Well, yeah, I do, it's my uncle. Oh, I'm trying to track him down, see if he had interest in selling that property that was out in, Manheim Township. Oh, yeah, I'll give you Steve's number. So if it was a simple thing that we changed, somebody that was doing the same thing was like, hey, man, what do you do with the numbers that you're calling? 7 out of 9 numbers suck. He's like, did you ever ask if they knew the person you were looking for? No, I didn't. We started doing it. So when we call those numbers, a lot of times inside of those 7 to 9 numbers that you get, somebody knows where to find the person that you're looking for. I'm not sure if it's in here, but we get a decent percentage of our mail that gets returned. Okay? Used to throw it out. The only reason mail gets returned is typically it's vacant, the person's deceased, no mail receptacle, or they have no forwarding address. Those 4 things are very, very strong indicators of a motivated seller. So, when we get return mail, we run it back through the property list manager, it gets added to a return mail stack, and it's one of the first people we call. If someone's deceased inside of that household, right, it's estate, it's probate, aunt inherited something, it's a good indicator that that person's going to look to offload that property and probably willing to do so at a discount. We call our list, we use a software called Mojo Dialer. I don't know the specifics of it, Anthony's far more technical than me, but allows you to dial several lines at one time, 5 to 7 lines at one time. If one answers, it automatically disconnects the others. If none of them answer, it drops 5 consecutive voicemails at one time. You don't have to stay on the phone and leave a voicemail, and then it moves on to the other 5. So that's why one person for us can make up to 650 phone calls a day. What's the normal contact rate at 650 phone calls?
Usually about 35 contacts.
Now 35 contacts and how many appointments?
2.
So that sounds like a lot, but 2 a day, 5 days a week is 10. Out of those 10, we will keep about 7 appointments, and our closing ratio is about 25%. So for each outbound caller that makes 650 quality phone calls, we're getting 3 or 4 deals a week from one outbound call.
Hey, Steve, before you move on, I just wanted to touch on what you said about known litigators.
Yeah.
Individuals who are known litigators or categories of people who are known litigators? Or both?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
So is it because Steve Brewer is on this list as a known litigator because his name came up 18 times in lawsuits? I'm not mailing to him, or is it because he's got Esquire behind his name?
No, it's known. Like, there's, go ahead.
So I get what you're asking. Is it also excluding lawyers because?
Is it categories of people or is it individual people?
It's both.
Okay.
But I think it's mostly individual. Like, it doesn't rule out a dentist because dentists are more likely to litigate.
Can we block them
Anyways,
from being
a dentist,
tenants
sorry,
too?
yeah. What?
Can we block them from being tenants?
Yes, actually. Talk to Anthony, he knows the software. Yes.
And just the one that wasn't listed up there, but you're scrubbing it through the do not call list.
Yeah, I said, I'm sorry, I thought I
Yeah.
said the do not call us against you, so you saw, right? But we actually learned that you can, as a real estate investor, you can call people and do not call us because we're not selling something. It's a little brave for me, but 100%, you can tell me with 100% confidence we can call because we're not selling it.
It's deemed an informational.
Well, don't find a way.
We choose to typically not operate in your.
So-
It's not what it is. Yeah.
Are you using stateside outbound callers in your office, or are you using VAs?
Yeah, so we a little bit of both. What we found was, so for texting, it doesn't matter, because with texting, there's no accent, right? We had better success with stateside, 2 full-time stateside, 1 that we use predominantly for like the colder list, we're just farming for low-hanging fruit. Someone that's desperate to sell just hasn't picked up the phone. We just found that they don't really care if it's someone from the, and they have, like, we actually have, I don't know if it's up here, but if you ever want to hire a VA, we've had a lot of success with a company called Rocket Fuel. They literally have an entire stable of virtual assistants in every category, from strong administrative, bookkeeping, marketing specialists, both outbound marketing, right? Like they're good with ad design and stuff like that, and then inward marketing, right? Where they're more of the analytical to measure their results. That's 2 of what we have put together our trackers and manual dashboards for us, so we can see what's working and what's not in real time. But I would highly encourage you, Rocket Fuel. We have 2 VAs that are literally would qualify for about an $18 to $20 an hour wage in the U.S. that we pay $4.75 an hour. And they think we are like, I mean, they thank us every day every week when they get their paycheck, they are like doing back to us. As a matter of fact, one of our most tenured VA was able to move out of a 1-bedroom apartment with a family of 5, and when she started working for us, we give her like a $25 bonus for each house we buy, and she was able to move her whole family into a 4-bedroom house, so that changed her life. So, $4.75 an hour sounds like highway robbery for them, and they're able to work out in the comfort of their own home. It's life-changing. Yeah.
Is that in the Philippines, like the other VAs? Okay.
You're saying VA, I'm not.
Virtual assistant, I'm sorry. Virtual assistant. So virtually just means they don't work inside of their office. They're virtual. Yeah.
Real quick suggestion. I noticed people online that use VAs try the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
They're killers.
Tried what?
The Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
They're killers.
Yeah. We've just had luck with this particular company, and 2 of them are husband and wife team. So they're really solid. Yeah.
Now, in that particular company, do they take care of all like the laws and regulations,
Yeah.
or do you respond? They
They're
take care of
1099.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get invoiced. They have benefits, they got everything.
Okay.
It's a real company. And they train them, and they have an accountability coach. So, we're busy, right? We're busy renovating homes, buying homes, doing it. We don't necessarily always have the time to coach and manage these people. I think if you get one person, you get an accountability coach with them. They'll do a 1-week coaching call with you, the VA, and their coach. They're making outbound calls, they'll randomly select like 5 calls. They'll go through the call, assess the call, coach the person on what they could have done better, and then ultimately they leave, results up to you, but they're happy with it. So they've been great for us. Not great for everything, there's just certain things, listen, we live in South Central, people are immediately turned off sometimes when they hear an accent, and understandably so. I am, like the instant I hear somebody start off with an accent, I'm not interested. I don't even have that card anymore. What do you mean extended warranty? Right? Like I get those phone calls 3 times a day. So, any other questions about that stuff? I know I went over kind of quick. Everybody good? So not just any process, top 20% lead conversion. Lead conversion, live answer. We're huge on live answer. Him and I fight about it all the time. Only because we're just trying to figure out the best way to do it. We both agree that it's super important. I'm going to tell you why. Right now, those of you that have been in the market for a while, it's cyclical, right? Sometimes the hardest thing to get done is construction, and other times the hardest thing to do is sell homes. Right now, everybody's competing for the deal, right? Like everybody's competing for the phone call. So when you get the phone call, what can you not do?
Miss it.
Miss it. It can't go to voicemail. It can't go to a virtual assistant. I'm sorry, Andrea, but it can't go to you. I need a closer on the phone. Okay? So what we found is that a missed call will statistically take 7 callbacks to connect. What do you think happens while you're making those 7 phone calls?
Calling
Somebody else. We're in a very response, heavy environment. Like people, it's actually, some people will tell you it's better to be quick than good right now.
Yeah.
I tend to disagree. We try and do both, but some people will tell you it's better to be quick than good. So we found that for every time we miss a live call, we call back 7 times. And here's what happens. To give you a quick glimpse. They call you, you missed the call, they leave a message. They called an 800 number, a vanity number, or a call rail number, or something tracked. You're calling back from your cell phone. Do they recognize the number? No. So you go to voicemail. Then they call you back. You're on the phone with another missed call you had. 7 calls happens like that. And a lot of times the reason people don't call you back is because they got a hold of you. You build a good relationship. They've already scheduled an appointment with you. Why do you want to call him back? That was painful. That guy asked me 30 questions about why I didn't fix my roof in the last 3 years and all this other stuff. I'm going to see how it goes with him. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll call you back. It's too late. If you're any good, you're going to get the deal before he ever does.
You waste the time.
Yeah. So live answer is huge for us, and it's really hard. Because if I'm on the phone with a live answer and another call comes in, I can't answer it. Right? So it's been really hard for us to scale. We're constantly trying to figure out, but the only way we've really been able to figure it out is just add, which is expensive. 2 to 3 dedicated full-time live answer ISAs, that's what we have. 1 is virtual, she lives in Connecticut, Maine, they're kind of the same. And then 2 that we have that work inside of our office. Answer Connect, Pat Live, anybody ever heard of those? It's an answering service. They do okay. It is live answer. They are stateside. We give them like 5 real basic questions. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Where can we email information? And what's the best time to return your call? So we do have 24/7 live answer, but they're not qualified. We call lead managers or salespeople. Qualifying motivation. The script, when they talk to one of our lead managers, is very, very, very pointed. We're trying to get to a place of negotiations pretty early in that relationship. With the sheer vast number of leads that we get, we just can't waste time going out to 400 appointments a month. We're really trying to narrow this down to motivated sellers that are realistic about their asking price, setting expectations. So we measure everything like I talked about, outbound calls, text, follow-up calls, text, per day, resulting in a number of appointments. So what we do is we say, we want to buy 30 homes a month in York. Then we take, how many appointments does it take? You buy 20%. If you keep 70% of the appointments you schedule, how many appointments do you need to set? If you get 20% of the people you talk to, you get an appointment from, how many people do you talk to? And that dictates how many calls, or how many calls we have to make, how many mailers we have to send. So we actually work backwards from our goal, and then we develop a marketing budget around that, and we develop a call sequence behind that, and it's been successful for us. CRM, automated drip campaigns. Once a day we get a deal. Not once a day. Once a month, twice a month, we get a deal off an automated drip campaign on an email from someone we met 18 months ago. They were in a drip sequence, and it was a well-written. We spent a couple $1,000 3 years ago and had someone write these really nice drip campaigns that sound very personable. I think they mostly come from me. They're written for me because I'm on the postcards and stuff. That's the other thing too. The one thing we did find that works, if you put a face on the postcard, we get a much better response. And local. People want to deal with somebody local that looks normal. I guess I don't know, somewhat normal. Because people call off the postcard. Follow-up calls, we're militant. If we do miss a call, we know that time is of the essence. We call 3 times a day for 3 days. Then we call once a day for 5 days, and then it gets kind of dropped into a, oh shit, we missed it. And then TO calls. So this is something we started doing about 3 months ago. So before an acquisition agent leads needs an appointment, they call our acquisition manager. To run a deal by them. And a lot of times what we find is we train our acquisition agents about a ton of rapport. We don't treat it like a robotic assessment appointment. They're very engaged with the customer, figuring out what the pain points are, what's the problem, how can I solve it. And a lot of times they get emotionally attached to the customer, so that they might be, dare I say, scared, but they're not. They almost feel too close to the seller to ask for the deal. So before they leave, they have to call the acquisitions manager. If he doesn't answer, it drops to me. If I don't answer, it drops to him. And we find a lot of times they're ready to pack their stuff up and leave. We'll send them back in with another idea. Or we might have a slightly different opinion of what we can pay for the property. We'll pull comps again. I'll get a good description. We send 30 pictures before they even call us. And we've seen successful getting deals from those deal calls that we were leaving before. And maybe some of those we would have gotten from follow-up anyway, but I'd rather make the deal on the spot than run the risk of not getting it and hoping that follow-up works. Okay, so let me do one other thing. The other, maybe this is the follow-up calls. Then we do a next day manager call, sort of like a customer service call. And our acquisition manager calls and says, hey Steve, this is Doug, Integrity First Home Buyers. I understand Sarah was out to see you yesterday. I just wanted to take 2 minutes of your time to see how that experience went. We care an awful lot about the way our customers are treated. I just wanted to check in with you. Oh yeah, it's fine. Well, let me ask you a question. Was Sarah on time? Doesn't sound anything like a sales call, right? Because people want to, they're willing to do a survey. They don't want to talk any sales, right? They're scared they might get talked into something. So we treat it like a survey, and did they arrive on time? They explain the process to you thoroughly. Did you feel like you were, given all the information you need? Hey, did Sarah make an offer? Oh, she did. Okay. And what did you think of that offer? It was okay. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're ready to accept, 1 no way. Where would you say you are? I'm a 7. Well, see, I'm maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself. What would it take to get you from a 7 to a 10? She offered me 100. If she gave 102, I'd sell this sucker. Like literally, I mean, that's an exaggeration for the sake of making a point. But sometimes it's literally that simple, right? And sometimes just, you got to think from the time you meet somebody as a complete stranger, our average quality acquisitions appointment takes about an hour and 40 minutes. Some people just won't move that far in an hour and 40 minutes. Like no matter what you do, they're just not going to make a deal. They just need you to leave so they feel comfortable without being in control. So we do next day follow-up calls. Very, 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 very powerful. And even if you don't get the deal, what do you think the customer feels? What's their perception of your business when you call to do a customer service call as a flipper? What do they think about your business? Professional. You're professional, you care, right? So even if they're not going to make a deal for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, you're going to rank up there pretty high. It's going to set you apart from the competition. So that's been one of the things we've noticed is work. In addition to just getting the deal, sometimes we call the next day. Acquisitions, trained and knowledgeable acquisition agents. We do not allow, it sounds terrible. We do not encourage or send our acquisitions agents typically on an appointment by themselves for at least 90 days. They'll shadow a manager, they'll shadow one of their coworkers. Anybody here ever heard of John Martinez? Okay, cool. A couple people. He is like the Grant Cardone of real estate investing. He's created an entire curriculum around how to acquire properties at discounted prices. He sells a 12-week course. It's a lifetime membership. I want to say it's about $4,000 up front, but he runs a 12-week course 3 times a year. He does it virtually, and then like twice a year he does an actual boot camp. It's like $2,500 to attend, and that's a live event. It's mandatory for all of our acquisition agents. They've all been through the 12-week course. I think now everybody, other than Ty works with us in Lancaster. He's next to go to the John Martinez boot camp. It's awesome. You'll love it. The last one was in Denver. Of course, he always does it. So everybody's excited about going. But they're all trained, extremely knowledgeable. We run them through how to run comps. We spend 2 weeks with our project managers about how to identify, hidden latent defects in a property. What does a bad foundation look like? How to identify where the septic in the well is? We train the living snot out of our people. Consistent training and support. We do weekly sales training. We hired a It's a affiliate of John Martinez, and we did a 60-minute training call. We would record sales calls, and we would send them off to him. He'd break them down into like 20-minute, take an hour and 40-minute appointment, break it down to like a 20-minute highlight, and then critique or make suggestions about how that person could improve an appointment. So we do continuous training. We do it every week. We have an acquisitions manager. He coaches the acquisitions agents before the appointment, does the TO call, so the acquisition agent calls Doug before he leaves, and he also makes the appointment, makes the follow-up call, the customer survey call that we talked about. He does that the day after the appointment, and then he has final say for any deal. So a lot of times our acquisitions agents lock it up. It's right on the line, they'll write it up, we'll put in like a 24-hour due diligence, Doug goes out the next day to sign off on whether or not it's a deal. That used to be Anthony and I. It was just really tough to run every other part of the business and run out to effort, run out to Camp Hill to look at a deal. So Doug's there to basically make sure we make only good deals and we don't make the bad deals. Develop a rapport with sellers. So I can tell you that most of the real estate investors that I've seen on an appointment, and I'm sure at some point I probably operated this way, become very clinical and operational inside of the appointment. We walk around with the clipboard, we're taking pictures of the bad furnace, and we're focused on the house. The house doesn't mean anything. It's all about the person. So we throw this word around like build rapport. What does it mean to us in these deals? It means engaging with the customer. Like, Bob, why are you selling? It seems like a nice place. You've been here for 25 years. Well, just getting up down the steps is really bad for me. My back, and I'm retired as a truck. Talk about being a truck driver. Talk about how you dealing with your back. I mean, what happens if you don't sell the house? Right? Talk about that kind of stuff. Don't point out the fact that his furnace is leaking. He knows. Right? You just sound like a jerk. I mean, you just do. Whether you realize it or not, when we start getting Bob, we're gonna have to deal with that mold. I mean, Bob knows. He's gonna tell me, you gotta deal with the mold. Talk to him about where he's going. How is selling this house going to change your life? Where do you plan on going from here? Oh, I'm going to go down and, live with my daughter. She's maybe got 2 wonderful grandkids down there. I can't wait to be with them. I'm going to be. The only thing you have to do is sell the house to get down there? Yeah. I hope I can help you out. It's a whole different. Remember I told you our appointment takes an hour and 45 minutes? That's why. We engage in real meaningful conversation with people. I wouldn't even say we negotiate. At the end of the appointment, we just talk about price. It's not negotiation. At the appointment phase, it's just the way that we treat our customers. Don't be a robot. Don't spend time making notes and taking pictures of drop ceiling tiles and bad water heaters and cracked foundation walls and bad gutters, right? Most of that stuff doesn't even matter. You want the conversation to be centered around why are they selling, how can you solve the problem, and what is that worth to them? Not ARV minus 70% and figuring out what your rehab is. You've got to know that stuff to know how high you can go, but it has nothing to do with how low they'll go. Make sense? Do you see the connection here, what I'm saying? Sellers make deals with people, not companies. If you walk through the house and you're very analytical, and you're talking about water heaters, blah, 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 we've been in business for 12, they don't really care. Too often, and I can tell you, I'm guilty of it, we get in and we just start telling everybody how great we are. Close in 7 days. What if I want to close in 3 months? So if you're not talking to them about what they're trying to get done, you're going to tell them how great you are, and literally none of it applies to them. Right? So be a person, not a company. Make sense? It's a lot easier than what you might think. Is that it? This is something, so we start real quick. So if you didn't notice, everything we do is hyper-targeted, right? I don't mail anybody unless I have a good reason to. I'm going to show you, so we're about Monday. Monday we start TV, about 400 spots a month. I wouldn't do it other than the fact that we basically found somebody that takes all this analytics, measuring, and all that stuff, and they've been able to apply it. 1 second, just want to be finished because I'll forget. They've applied the same analytics to television we've applied to mail and Facebook and all of that stuff. They literally measure response times by the minute on television. That's kind of a freak. The way he keeps up stuff, he provides the service to like 40 different markets across the country. So they constantly move commercials from show to show, from hour to hour, from minute to minute, based on the response time and the amount of appointments that we get off of. So I'm gonna brag a little bit. We like the commercial that we did here. It's a 30-second spot. It's gonna run on network television, so we'll be all over the place. And it starts Monday, and we'll do about 400 spots a month. We're anticipated to get how many leads? 30 a week, 120. So for us, that should translate to should be 12. So we should get 12 new transactions off of this. We're going to spend $11,500. It's $1,000 a deal. For those of you that measure what the cost per transaction is, ours is about $2,500. We do a really good job. Most people we talk to, particularly some of the more competitive markets like Lancaster, is super competitive. Our cost per contract here is almost double what it is in York. We do business in like Franklin County. Not a whole lot of competition for those of you that live in Franklin County. Northern parts of like Cumberland and Dauphin County are, we have a sleep too, so we can put it up there. $1,000 a contract is ridiculous. So, yes, you have a question?
Mentioned you, TV, so I was wondering if you had thought about or done any work on YouTube.
So every video I do goes to YouTube. We've only started, it's been 7 or 8 months. We partnered with a digital advertising company. We're still kind of in the beginning stages of, I think this will answer your question. He has a way to take everything that we do on Facebook, save the video, leverage it to YouTube, then YouTube has 30 different applications that it syncs with and sends that content out to. So the answer right now is no, but I'd love to be able to tell you in 90 days I got it figured out and kick ass with it. But right now I'm a novice, but we do have a good connection with someone that admired our social media presence and was excited about. He's actually doing it for free for us. And he wants to take all of our content and somehow create some type of symmetry between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then however he plans to deploy that information to draw leads.
So is that like an organic YouTube strategy, or are you paying?
No paying. It's all organic. Yeah. So that's it. Let's show the commercial, and then Chuck, we have time for any questions anybody have, or we need to wrap up?
Absolutely. We got time for questions.
All right.
Life can change quickly. At Integrity First Home Buyers, we are honored to be able to provide real solutions to real life challenges. In fact, our team of professional home buyers has helped thousands of individuals, couples, and families sell their home. Meanwhile, beautifying the neighborhood, improving property values, and bettering the community, one home at a time.
For a fair cash offer on your home, call Integrity First Home Buyers today.
So that'll go live Monday. We shot that video. That video is actually a little over a minute long. We shot it. We used it as a running video on Facebook. And then we decided we were going to do TV. We were on a tight timeline, and we worked with a developer that took that video, cropped it down. What I call it, chopped and screwed. My son talks about that on music, so I try to drop lingo when I can and use it. But anyway, they chopped and screwed the video and done it down to 30 seconds, and that's what it turned out to be. We like it. We think it'll be good. I used to be in used car sales. That's why you see like the flashing up there. If I had to redo it again, I backed down. I fought hard to get that up. I said, "I'm getting a race, man." Didn't I? We fought about that too. So hey, any questions? Anybody have any questions for me? Anything that I can clarify about what we talked about? No? Thanks for having me. Okay.
Well, on the texting, is your VA handling all of the responses to it?
Up until, we take it down to like, let's say if there's 10 steps to get to an appointment, they take it to step 7 and hand it off to an actual salesperson. So once it gets into like, well, what's your offer based on, boom, that goes to an acquisitions agent. But the beginning part, typically the first 3 to 5 steps, like, who the hell are you? How'd you get my phone number? And we have an entire whole library of canned responses. All they have to do is drag it over. So they don't have to actually type, because if you ever talk to someone that has an accent, a lot of times they type with an accent too. So we try and give them as many conditional responses as we can, so there's zero thought, and it just speeds up the response time. They literally just drag it over in text, and then they've been trained on how to identify when it gets to a point where they need to turn it over. So,
Do you have a preferred skip tracing?
we use, actually Sherpa the texting platform does skip tracing for you, and we're at over 90%. Meaning, oh, so you wouldn't be able to use it here.
Skip G, probably your best bet.
Skip
At,
G.
yeah, skipg.com.
They're actually a little, like if Sherpa has a 90% what they call hit rate, which it brings back a number, Skip G is like 92%. The good thing for us is with Sherpa, Skip traces and has the texting platform all in one, so it's a little bit easier for us because we have so many people in that data with so much outgoing information today. The convenience is a little better for us. And there's a couple different ones, IDI, Skip G, if you literally Google it, or there's some Facebook platforms, there's a lot of different places you can skip tracing, but it can be expensive. We've seen as high as like 20 cents a record. We pay about 10 or 11 cents a record right now, so I would encourage you to do some research, look for the quality of the data, because you get a phone number, but if it's a bad phone number, your results on your outbound phone call and texting will stay. Maybe this texting thing's a joke, it's a liar. Shit works, but you gotta have the right data.
So, as we all know, it's a very competitive and tight market right now. You are talking to your competition right here, sharing valuable knowledge on marketing. Eric Brewer, why are you here tonight? What are you hoping to get out of this?
Nothing. Other than maybe a little personal gratification, actually. I mean, I, in a weird kind of way, enjoy this stuff. Enjoy this stuff meaning like, I like teaching. It's something I kind of came across. It's one of the things that I'm blessed to have Anthony for. The biggest value add that I'm able to provide in my company now is teaching, developing people, growing people, expanding. We did 400 deals this year. We were doing 180 for 10 years. I couldn't break through that ceiling. And it's because I tried to literally do everything in my business. I was the acquisitions agent, the lead manager, the project manager, the contractor. Did everything but answer the phones and pay the bills.
That's where all the hair went.
He told me he was going to use that joke, just so you know, I signed off on it.
I got permission.
It's okay. I didn't get that great of a response.
No, I know.
But no, to answer your question, and I got most of this from someone just like me standing in a room where I was in your seat. So for me, it's just a way to pay it back. Like I didn't create any of this stuff. I just met the right people, asked the right questions, followed up, did it, tested it, changed it, quit, started again. And so for me, it's just, I wouldn't have these opportunities if someone didn't share it with me. It's only right that I share with us.
So to piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
are you doing, are there any deals left?
Yeah,
Are you doing all the deals?
And I don't think I'm being completely honest with you when I tell you they move so quick. Whatever I would have left with, I talked to Chad 2 hours ago about an 11 unit. And we sold it all the way up. I was pissed. He almost wouldn't let me in. He sent me to the front of the building. I will, he's like, yeah, it's 800. There's a number up front, dummy. And, so I was kidding a little bit. But, yeah, we do have deals. Chris is our primary contact for wholesale, Chris Gamble. If you're looking for a deal, so a couple deals that we have fix and flips. We wholesale over 70% of our inventory. Another good question might be why. I literally hate renovations with a passion. For the first 12, somebody's right? You feel me? So for the first 12 years of my life, I was buying everything on the MLS. The only way I could make money was to fix and flip. I have the luxury of not having to do that with every transaction because we're now direct to seller. We're buying at deeper discounts. So for me, we'll gladly pass on, take 50% of potential profit because of the ease of the deal. That's not going to last forever. There's going to be a point where there's a shift in the marketplace, and for those of you that are positioned correctly will thrive. But I'll have to at some point go back to fix and flipping because it's not going to be as easy to get hard money. It's not going to be as easy to sell homes on the MLS. But for right now, the wholesale market is great. So we're going to ride the wave while it's cooking. We sell turnkey rental properties. Just to define what a turnkey rental property is to me, we renovate our rentals virtually the same way. Chad can attest to this, the way that we do our flips. Without the design aspect, we don't open up walls and things like that. We're very heavily focused on mechanicals. We do 2 home inspections on every property that we renovate. We do one in the beginning to verify that our scope of work addresses everything that needs to be addressed within that renovation. Then we do another home inspection at the conclusion to verify the integrity of the repairs that were done by the 6 to 12 different subcontractors we had on the job. That report is offered free of charge to the buyer of that property. If they decide to get another one, that's okay. But they do have a free home inspection. We use Home Check Home Inspections. They've been in business for 26 years. Very legitimate company. They do a phenomenal job. We also then place the tenant, and then we turn it over to Slate House with professional property management before it's sold to the end user. So it is literally a turnkey rental property. For those of you that are agents, I just spoke at Keller Williams Legacy West in Westminster to a room full of about 40 real estate agents. Blew their mind about turnkey rental properties. The biggest thing it is, for those of you that are not only investors but real estate agents, is when you think of an investor, it's probably a fix and flipper, right? So many clients that you have that you sell properties to, you're a real estate agent, right? If you sell a property to someone and they have a great experience, how many homes could you realistically sell over the next 20 years? Next 20 years, 2, 3 maybe, if they move a couple times. But, I mean, literally for our turnkeys in New York, our typical turnkey is about $90,000. So they can become an investor for $18,000, which is 20% down. We offer a minimum of a net 8% cap rate, over $250 a month of positive cash flow, and over a 12% cash on cash return. And when I say net cap rate, we've stripped out maintenance reserves, we've stripped out vacancy reserves. It's a very responsible net cap rate that we're talking about, not some inflated number. So we sell turnkey rentals, we sell wholesale deals. We have a website dedicated for wholesale deals. We'll put what we think ARV is in there. We try to be as accurate as we possibly can. Renovations move around so much, I don't even attempt to estimate what Chad's rehab would be, what your rehab would be. So we put ARV in there in the purchase price. It's up to you to figure out what your renovation would be. But we're selling 70% of the 30 deals, 35 deals we're doing in a month. So we're putting numbers out there that make good sense. So we do have wholesale deals. And I'll make sure that information gets shared with Chuck so you can send it out to all of you. I'll be here for a little bit if anybody wants to talk. I can certainly connect you. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, I had a question. So obviously you have a system, you have 14 years, 4,000 homes. You're a solo guy starting out today. What do you do first?
What would I do for a solo guy? Today would probably be different than it would have been 14 years ago. So which one do you want me to answer? Today or 14 years ago? If I knew what I knew now 14 years ago?
Well, yeah.
Today starting out.
We're not 14 years ago, today.
I'm not starting out.
And I'm saying,
so, all right, so what's the first thing I would do? I would, holy moly, there's one at every crowd.
Call me.
I would, probably the first thing I would do is decide, I'd locate one market. And I would pick one exit strategy. And we're fortunate to have a couple. I'd rather not do that. But in order for us to do the volume that we need to do to support the amount of people I have, the area coverage, not every, like Franklin County's not great for turnkey, but it's very lucrative for flipping because there's just limited inventory. The rents are very unpredictable. Lansing County is great for turnkey, but it's super hard to buy here. So what I would do is pick one. Right now, if I were to do it, okay, Scouts comes to me, I'd be a wholesaler. I would wholesale. Because it's a great way to produce cash flow, limited exposure. You can do so. You literally take a few of those lists that are up there. I can give you the top performing ones that we get the most deals from. Decide what you feel is the amount of income that you need to produce to, be happy. The amount of income that you need to maybe quit your full-time job or whatever. We all have a different amount of money we feel that we need to live the lifestyle that we want. And then work backwards, reverse engineer it. If I got to do 4 deals at $10,000 a deal, you can figure out how many leads you need, how many calls you need to make, how many appointments you need, and how many offers you got to make. So I would start with wholesaling, and I would anticipate everybody has their own opinion. I think we're going to be in this market, if not a little bit better, for another 2 years. So you can wholesale a lot of properties over the next 2 years, stack cash. The next thing I would do is start buying rentals through the BRRRR method. So that's how I would start. I would start with, if I could do that. I sold 1,500 homes that I wish I had back. So I would start investing in rental properties a lot sooner than I did. Does that help? It's as honest as I can be with you without it. I don't know, but I think that's what I would do. Yeah.
So you talked about your reluctance to doing social media, or your being uncomfortable. So how long did it take you to get over it?
Like my first video. And it was really, and it was, I'm it's the right way to say this.
It's really surprising.
I would literally do anything to make a buck, as long as it's morally, I'm at peace with, and, I feel that it's, in line with my character, my core values. So I was uncomfortable, and I did it the first time. I got a message about someone was like, it was actually one of the first things I ever did. No, I think it's too long. But I have a 16-year-old son, I told you that. And the end of his freshman year, he had shitty grades. And about halfway through the school year, I had constantly been up his butt, right? Like I talk about accountability, like I'm all about accountability. So I felt like he was only getting good grades because I made him. So at midterms, I said, hey, at some point you're gonna have to start doing this stuff because you believe in it and you care about your grades, not because I'm all over you every day, 3 times a day about your grades. I'm not gonna check your grades until the end of the school year, because you know what the expectations are. You've never this time of roll, I don't expect you to start now. And the end of the school year, hopefully we can revisit your grades and everything's great. The end of the school year, he had 7 grades, he had 5 D's, a C, and a B. And he's a good kid. He's a really good kid. But I was disappointed. And I struggled with it. I didn't know if I should lay the hammer down, take away everything that's, valuable. He's got a girlfriend, he plays football, he's on 3 different basketball teams, he has sleepovers all the time, and I thought long and hard about it, I prayed about it with my wife, and I knew what I had to do. And I had to take away all that. It was really hard for me, because he's my oldest son, he's more of a friend. I mean, we definitely have a father-son relationship, as we ever do. We go to football games, basketball games, we watch our favorite television shows together. And I posted a picture of myself. I don't know why I did it. I think I was just trying to get some of these crazy emotions out. And I posted a picture with a long, probably boring message about whether it's hard or easy, what's right is always right. And the response I got was phenomenal. And it wasn't intended that way. It was just a way of me, just kind of sharing what I was going through, and it just felt good to get it out. Because who could I talk to? My wife is very consoling. She told me I was doing the right thing, and I put it out there, and it ended up this networking group that we're in that has over 150 really badass investors in it. He called me like 2 months later. He was like, "Hey, can I use your Facebook post?" Which one? I thought he meant me riding a bike and running the wasn't that one. And he said he had to kick someone out of the group that had violated their core values. And he said, I've been stressing about it for a couple months, but I know it's the right thing to do. And I want to use that as an example of how doing the right thing is never negotiable, regardless of whether it's easy, hard, or feels like it's impossible. You have to do the right thing. So there was that, and then we were at a realtor networking golf tournament, and literally like 17 people that I'm they're not real friends, they're Facebook friends, came up to me and was like, hey, I just want to let you know I really appreciate what you put out there about your son. I've kind of gone through some similar things with my daughter, and I was really struggling about whether I was a good parent or a bad parent. Was I being too hard? Was I being too lenient? And that's when it kind of clicked for me that it wasn't just about deals and traffic, is that I was actually connecting with people. And it felt good to have, I was a little embarrassed, but at the same time it felt really good to be able to have a positive impact on people that I care about. And that it just became like almost, an obsession with me. That I'm constantly searching for a way to just put something out, maybe once a day that connects with one person. And I've been pretty successful with it. Put a lot of thought into what I do. This is Facebook Live here. I'm sure somebody will have something to say about it that I'm friends with, and maybe take a little nugget out of what we talked about. So it's very personally, for selfish level, it's gratifying for me when I'm doing it. But I've just gotten a good response from the people I'm friends with on social media. So does that answer your question? Sorry, I ran all over here. It was a big deal for me. Like, what am I going to say? you know, I touch my face and I scratch and I'm like, I didn't know my nose, like, am I good? Because you're on Facebook Live, like, there's no rehearsing, right? So literally everything I do is live. I don't record anything, and then post it. Everything I do is just right off the cuff live. Sometimes I screw up and say stupid shit, but it is what it is. People like it. So it shows that you're human. I guess that's the biggest thing I've taken away from it. Because some people are like, oh, you're this big bad investor, right? You sit behind this big desk and only buy homes for people that are desperate. I mean, that's, like, face it, that's what people think about flippers. So it adds a very personal aspect to what we do, and that's what we're all about. So, anybody else? Somebody over here have a question? No? Good? Thank you, everybody, for having me.